Hello everyone, Luke here, and once again, it's just been one of those weeks where everything just comes all at once. Obviously earlier this week we had the latest Doctor Stone chapter, and of course this week we had on Control Chaos doing the end of the post-Sword Dilemma for Power Rangers. So literally, this is the first day this week that I've been able to actually talk about Yozakura family, so I apologise for it being late, and also just because I've had work as well, like working in retail. It's just been piling on and on and on and on. Which, okay, side tangent before I get into the review. Like, seriously, what's the point of going out on Christmas Eve to buy presents only to then immediately the day after Christmas Day to be standing outside the shops waiting for the Boxing Day sales? Like, I know they're sales, but seriously, you've just spent all that money and all that time and all that effort of grabbing everything for Christmas, and then, okay, we've got that, now let's go shopping again. It's like, just spend at least a couple of days with your presents before you go shopping again. But I digress. That was just something I had to go off my chest. So yeah, sorry for that little bit of tangent. For now, let's just talk about the chapter. Okay, so this will be chapter 207, titled The Second Mission, Yozakura Frontlines, which is obviously a homage to when they first did the Frontlines back at the Tampopo arc, when they were like, okay, now that we know where Tampopo is, we're going to go and invade them, we're going to get Dr. Kawashita and finish him off. It's pretty much similar here, except now they've all split up. So we have Hiyofumi, Koricho and Fruitsburg going in one direction, Alpha and the other siblings staying in another location, and Tayo and Mutsumi going into another location. So yeah, it starts off with the chapter starts off with Hiyofumi's team investigating Dr. Moses now, and Hiyofumi is just like being like, Alpha, because this is the first time in the series these two have legitimately been separated. They've gone on separate missions, and it's probably the first time they've ever actually done this. So she's like, my twin brother, the one that I'm always with, like, without him, it's like I don't, it's like fish without chips, or it's like bangers without mash. Like, what do I do? What do I do here? And then we have Koricho here, Koricho and Futaba in these Amazonian outfits. Yeah, it just doesn't work for them. Like, seeing Fruitsburg just like this Amazonian, like, jungle explorer, but yeah, not a look for her that I feel like fits her. Well, with Creature I can kind of see it, but no, he's all about the business. It's all about professionalism. I digress. So, outfits aside, we have Koricho eating piranha. Not really something that I thought you, because normally you have the piranhas eating the humans, like in those B horror films. It's always the piranhas eating the humans. It's never the other way around. It's kind of like when I see like shark on the menu. It's like, it's just the last thing I expect to be like, hey, it's an edible food that you can eat. Like, yeah, it's just the last thing that I expect to see. But I guess you've got to survive somehow. And of course because Alpha is not here, we have Hiyofumi imagining that he's there, just being like, hey Alpha, oh hey Hiyofumi, doesn't this taste good? Yeah, it does taste good. And Koricho, obviously, because he's Koricho, he understands this. He always imagines Mutsumi by his side and just being able to say the things that she would never do. Like, that just what goes through his mind. Before we have Futaba, is it Futaba? No, it's Koricho saying like, oh, I know, I've got an idea here. Let's pitch a table, make this camp so much fun that we'll forget our tears here through me, because I understand you're missing Alpha, I'm missing your mother, and Futaba is the one that has to remind them, like, yeah, we're actually on a mission here, so don't start going around and making things up as you go along. Before she questions that, is there really a research lab hiding around here? And Koricho suspects that, yes, from Nano's intel, it's accurate. Mount Tonagara, the biggest active volcano in South America. Okay, this is actually kind of hilarious because in let me just go ahead a little. Let me just go ahead a little bit to where Mutsumi and Tayo actually are. Where did they end up? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they were in Nevada. It was stated somewhere. Okay, we'll come. Yeah. Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to them, but keep in mind that I suspect that from what I remember reading the chapter earlier this week, they're in Nevada, which considering the fact that when that Hifumi, Koichiro, and Futaba are in South America, and I'm pretty sure that Musumi and Tayo are in Nevada in Las Vegas, which, yeah, considering Doctor Stone Season 3 ended, we got the announcement of Doctor Stone Season 4, which is the final season, which, by the way, me, Pyjams, and Fex on Control Chaos, we're going to be diving into that in a separate video. That is a guarantee, because Season 4 being the final season, yeah, we need to talk about that, but I digress. So they're at Mount Tonagara, the biggest active volcano in South America, so hey, you can just pick up the Medusas that are scattered around there, and use that to petrify Asa. I mean, that's a possibility. Okay, all jokes aside about locations, we have them going, oh, the fragments of plant matter found on Dr. Mosu's body can only be found in this region. So I like the fact that they go into explicit detail, like, okay, there's these plants on here, can only be found in South America. Okay, there's got to be something there, and they go on and say that Mosu prides herself on this location and all the geothermal energy it generates from the volcanoes. Though Nanano says he hasn't seen it for himself, the hidden sensors and traps makes for convenient road signs, and Koichiro ensures he'll feel like, oh, you're safe with us, but it's still wise to stay alert. And again, love Koichiro when he gets to have this mentorship of just being like, okay, yeah, Hifumi, even though we can mark out and predict where the traps, you've still got to be on your toes here, as this is a mission for all of us, but it's also training for you. And this is where we get the feel of like of why they actually split up the twins, because they spent their whole lives together. They are truly formidable when they work in tandem. But Alpha depends on your strength, while you depend on his smarts. You both lean too much on the other. That impedes your growth as individuals, which perfect reason to separate them, because yeah, if they're always together, and even though they work well together as a unit, if one of them is separated, like as we're seeing right now, with one of them being separated, how's it going to affect them as an individual? That's been one of the things that I feel like a lot of people have had problems with, is that as the twins have been in the series, is that they've always been together, that it doesn't make them as individuals as they could be, if that makes sense. Like, it would be like if, say, it's always like one of the criticisms I'll have with Full Metal Alchemist is that you'll always have Ed and Al always together. And I understand it's their journey and they're on a way to rediscover their bodies, but we never really see them separated all that much throughout the series. There are exceptions, but we never really have those moments where it's like, okay, you've got to go off and do this completely by yourself, separate from your brother. So you never really get that sense of like, what are they like as individuals, separate from them, focusing on something that the other has nothing or no knowledge of. So yeah, it's the same thing here. I like this angle that the author took of the fact that Alpha and Hifumi, yes, they work well together, but how stronger would they be if they were separated and learned different skills by themselves and then came back together? They would be an unstoppable force after that point, which again, I don't really like that aspect, because it just seems like it's taken away from Tao's inevitable victory over Asa. Although I feel like I said, even though Alpha and Hifumi will be integral to taking him down, I feel like it's still going to come down to Koichiro, Tayo versus Asa. That's really all how it's always been throughout the series. So they go on and say, it's because you're twins that now is the time when we need to focus on fostering your individual talents. That said, simply having you tag along by yourself won't do much for your growth. And Futaba is like, exactly. So that's why we've set a goal for you. So you are going to train during this particular mission. So by the end of it, you'll find your blooming. So yeah, so we're finally going to find out if that energy that when Hifumi first met Creature and just blasting with that energy, like, is that going to be her blooming, and what is that actually going to be? So I guess it's going to go in the Bleach angle here, where it's like, okay, I know, yeah, you yeah, there's no records of Yozakura ever blooming as young as 4 years old, but we've seen your potential. If the two of you can finally control your blooming, you could become even more powerful than us. So it's basically like, yeah, I know. Usually it takes 10 years to master a Bankai, but you guys are going to learn it in just 3 days. It's kind of the same vibe that we're going with here, and place your bets on what their bloomings actually will be, what Hirofumi's blooming. I'm still going to go with her blooming being a more controlling aspect, based on what we saw of how she was able to just make Karicho just submit to her, or it might be a submission blooming, and Alpha's blooming might have something to do with bad Alpha as well, like the split personality. Yeah, so yeah, place your bets about what they will actually become in the future. So as Hirofumi is learning about this, she questions like, oh, you mean like that ghostly looking one? What's all that about? Can you guys do it? Obviously referring to the true spring blooming, and Fruitsby is just like, yeah, the true spring blooming, that's a trade secret. Though if I theoretically could do it, I doubt you'd ever see it. It's too dangerous, which we are going to see them at some point. Like, all the siblings, true spring bloomers, we are definitely going to see them, which, oh my god, I have no idea what Fruitsby and Creatures would be. Like, I fear them the most. And yeah, just trying to figure it out is just making my head explode. Oh, and by the way, because I failed to mention this at the beginning of the chapter, next week will be the last chapters before the Christmas break. So we'll have Mission Yozakura and Dr. Stone, and they will be. I'll be doing them quite similar to what I did this week with Dr. Stone and Mission Yozakura, where it was spread evenly throughout the weeks, and then and then 2 weeks after that, the next chapter, I believe, comes out on my birthday. Yeah, because we've got the Christmas break one, then we've got a 1 week break, which is New Year's, and then we've got the one. So yeah, it will come out on my birthday, the next chapter. So January 7th, we get the chapters right after that, right after New Year's, and then after that it goes on break again. Like, that's just the standard for Shonen Jump, every year. Now, in terms of the schedule for that chapter that comes out on birthday, that will be waiting. So because I've got things coming up on that week, and when I eventually do sit down to do the review, you guys will know what it's all about. So just wanted to get that out of the way. So anyway, we have Fruitsburst saying, anyway, learn your blooming and become a good agent, and I'm sure that Alpha will be really proud of you. As we have her just imagining what Alpha would say before she, I guess, goes Super Saiyan. It's just like, I'll work super duper hard, extra hard, and okay, what? Okay. Fruitsburst says, oh, hot. It's like, did she set herself on fire? We come back over to the academy where we have Alpha's team, who are just lazing around playing computer games, and and we have we have Keigo going, healing please, wonderful, skilled, beautiful sister. And Shion's like, survival of the fittest, you're on your own. Alrighty, new high score. But then we have Alpha just being like, wait a second, why the hell are we lazing around here? Hirofumi and Papa and the others are working hard on their mission, but we're just sat here in pajamas, which, hey, when I was doing the post-Sword and Era video for Wild Force, we talked about a pajama-themed Sentai. I guess Alpha, you really need to see the pajama themed Sentai, if that even is a thing. But yeah, he goes on and says like, why are we here with these video games with the Shulk group? We're just being lazy. We're not actually doing anything here. Before we have Keigo going, oh, relax, this is fine, it's training after all. And then we see Naruto basically doing what Naruto does, becoming a slime goopy monster and just morphing himself out of all the trash and everything, which that's something like Mayuri from Bleach would do. Oh, and by the way, Naruto versus Mayuri from Bleach Death Battle. Who would win in that fight? So that, I guess when we get Naruto's True Spring Blooming, we'll have a clear idea of the power gap between them. But anyway, Naruto says like, yes, this is all for training. Shion's using an interface that looks like a game to analyze the account of Asa we found at the wedding. If we're lucky, she'll be able to dig update on his research or even where he actually is. And she was like, yeah, I'm working. Don't you worry. But let's be honest, she's just playing as well. But hey, work hard, play hard. It's a perfect balance. We've all gotta relax our brains, because all work and no play makes us like not know who we are outside of work, which. Slight tangent that I want to go off here. I know this is kind of ironic considering where this is actually going to go up, but and I understand that they need to make money because it's their full-time job. But seriously, sometimes when you look at the YouTubers on YouTube and you just see them as the YouTubers, like, do they really not have any life outside of YouTube? Because you just see them uploading videos day in, day out, and it's like, don't they ever take a break to like a day or two off? And I understand like the YouTube algorithm's all over the place, which is why I would never want to have this full-time job. I just do this as a hobby for fun because I love talking about things. I love talking about Yozakura family and Dr. Stone and everything we do on Control Case. I just love doing that. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, sometimes I know, like, okay, I need to take a break from YouTube and do other things, because all work and no play, especially because I consider this like free from work, if that makes sense. And yeah, even though I love doing this all the time without any play, without any way to get away from it, will just make me a dull man and not know who I am outside of YouTube. But anyway, that's a slight tangent I wanted to get off my chest. And of course, they're using this to train Alpha to unlock his blooming. And Alpha's just like, oh, you mean the special state we can achieve by activating the Simonian in our body? And they're just like, yeah, I'm glad you actually know that. So it saves something to explain what the Simonian in your body actually is. And now goes on to explain that when he gave them a physical checkup earlier and examined their unique skills and put together a regiment to get both of them to their bloomings as quickly as possible. So he's going to explain some in more detail later on, but even this lazy ground, it's also part of your training. I designed it specifically for you, Mr. Too Serious Alpha. So yeah, his blooming is going to involve his bad side at some point. I guess it'll be a way he can actually be in control of his bad side. Before we have them going on and saying, "There, got it. It's good. Now how you?" Yeah, your backup helps me analyze this quicker. Heck, your shooting's way better than Keigo. And Keigo just takes offense to that by saying, hey, I specialized in damage self, thanks. As we have Alpha going like, oh, so undecisible. I can already feel the hives, but I spent way too long letting Hifumi protect me. If this lets me grow on my own, then it's worth trying. So I'm glad that Alpha's realizing, like, yeah, Hifumi's always been the one that's protected me, but if she's out of the picture, where does that leave me? So I need to get stronger so that if Hifumi does get taken out, I at least have some backup that I can rely on myself without Hifumi needing to be there all the time. So I'm glad he's realized that. And of course, he asks Shinzo, is like, hey, are you okay? You're just sitting there letting us use you as a lap pillow. But Shinzo realizes, like, yeah, I kind of deserve this, because when I was little, I got baited by a donut into accidentally signing an eternal lap slave contract, which, just rip that up, Shinzo. Just rip that up already. So, yeah, they're just using him as a slave here, essentially. But I digress. We cut over to Tayo and Mutsumi as they're off doing a little private globe-trotting visit to friends and digging up info. And as we see Tayo doing what he does best. So we have Mutsumi standing in the middle. We have all these guns firing, at her, but Tayo's just like with Uri, and she's just like, thank you for the wonderful, passionate welcome. Finance spies, black market financiers, our ties go back to my grandmother's days. Are you really that upset to see us today because you let Asa sweet talk you into putting bounties on our own family? So yeah, getting pretty much 100% confirmation here that Asa, even though he said that he doesn't need people to do his dirty work, is still using people to do his dirty work. Musume goes on and says, negotiating isn't off the table, providing you kindly confess to everything. What do you say? As we have this guy going on and saying like, you two walk into any base, just the two of you, and offer to negotiate. You've got confidence, if nothing else. No, you're the one who's got the ego, thinking like, yeah, you guys are going to be the ones to take down the main couple of the series. And Tayo and Mutsumi obviously have that idea as well. Like, yeah, we're the main couple that says, I'm the main character. This is my wife. So you really think you're going to take us out like just like that? Yeah, I beg to differ. As we see Tayo activate his true spring blooming and basically just decimates everyone. Like he just which, holy shit! Like you. Go back, look at Tayo at the beginning of the series when his house got blown up by Kiricho, and look at him now. He just has no care in the world, no balls. It's like, oh, you think you're gonna threaten me? Like, True Spring Blooming decimates them all. As Musume's like, drop the bounties if you please. And the guy's just like, yeah, I can't really argue with that. Before Tayo asks Mutsumi, where to next? She suggests that they visit the IT tech spy group, Wiria Industries. Shion said that it's likely that they're letting Asa use their service. She goes on and says, and we have to fly over LA to get there. Let's drop in. Then there's the Grand Canyon, Las Vegas, Arizona. Okay, so yeah, they are going to Nevada. So I was right. That was the moment I was trying to find at the beginning of the chapter. So yeah, we've got Las Vegas, Nevada, which is the setting for the Corn City arc, or the new American City arc in Doctor Stone. And then we've got Kiricho's group in South America, which is obviously the setting for the South America arc. So yeah, if that's not a reference to Doctor Stone, then it's one hell of a coincidence. But Tayo reminds like, yeah, we're technically on a mission here. Before Mitsu's like, it's okay. This is just compensating a wheezy bit after we scraped our honeymoon for safety's sake. So they pretty much should not have a honeymoon. So they're just like, hey, let's kill two birds with one stone. We'll have our honeymoon, but also do this mission at the same time. As she says, the Heel Fumi Squad and the Alpha Squad are making steady progress. Let's do our best to find Asa together as a family. The second mission, Yozakura Frontlines, it's underway, and that's where the chapter ends. So really just overall an okay chapter. It's basically just again set up for the next wave of story arc as we move further into getting intel on Asa. Now, considering this is the penultimate chapter before the Christmas break, I honestly can see it going this way. Like, they spend like the first quarter of the year of 2024 gathering the intel. Then we spend then I guess we spend the next quarter going into June, actually perfecting Iofumi and Alpha's blooming as much as possible before we get the final battle, which covers the rest of. So I guess I could see this series ending in 2024 or at the very least mid-2025. So, but yeah, it does seem like we are heading into the final phases of the series here, unless the overthrows another curveball is like, yeah, even though we're in the final stages, it's going to go on a little bit longer than I initially planned, which it can either be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how they do it. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz, and this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.